come here, we're gonna play your song.
Right.
But I'm just like, I don't even care if they played the song. Honestly, I just there because it's fun to chat in the chat room. You know, everybody gives each other shit, and it's always tunes, man. You know, and almost every time I get turned on to something I haven't heard before.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Right, I just need to say it's the first time I'm fucking doing this YouTube stream. I'm completely out of retard, and I didn't press live there, so we'll fucking start again.
Okay.
Fuck's sake. But you can edit that, Graham. I'm DJ Elric, Metal Devastation Radio. We are definitely live now.
Yes.
Horns up.
Yes.
We got Gravehuffer in, we got Richie, we got Mike as well. And who's the other guy?
This is Travis, our new singer.
Travis. Awesome. Loving the new single, by the way. While that's on my mind, like I really love the lyric video. It actually got me quite emotional. It got me a bit welled up, actually. I was really surprised about that. It's just seeing the images and the lyrics. And I think the lyric, the ghost dance isn't enough. Like, was like, oh shit, you know, it's like, yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, like, well done with that. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
But you said ghost dance is not enough, and then he says it again. Like,
really,
it's not enough. You know?
Yeah. It really hits you. Like I say again, like you're great supporters of MDR, and like as I said before, like what attracted you to, like, how did your association with MDR start, and what attracts you to, like, just tuning into our station, because we really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm pretty sure it was either DJ Zach or, now that I think about it, it could have been the Thunderheads.
Yeah.
It could have been them. You know, I really am not 100% sure now. So, but it was either the Thunderheads or DJ Zach. And I believe, I don't know how I got an email for somebody at MDR and sent them quite possibly Destroyer of Worlds. I'm not real sure, but sent them some music, and they tagged us in a post, and that's kind of where it all started. And so I followed the links and started listening, and then I told the other guys about it, and they're like, man, this is a pretty cool station. And everybody started getting into the chat room, and we started becoming friendly with each other, you know. And so it's been a really positive vibe, and we've met so many new people through there. I can honestly say the No Slip record deal was probably because of Metal Devastation Radio. So that was really cool. And it's been I don't know if this is the right words or not. It's been a love fest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I didn't know the No Slip thing, actually, because the No Slip Records had a big association with us as well. Like, and they're really they put out some great music. Hopefully they're still going, because I know the guy John. Is it John Pilson? Robert Pilson.
Robert Pilson.
Yeah, he was having a lot of problems, wasn't he? Like keeping it going, but like touch wood, hopefully it'll be all right. But
maybe now he's kind of. I think a lot of that had to do with his day job and just being able to afford to do it. And but I think now business is picking up for him again, and I think he's kind of maybe rethinking not shutting it down.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I hope so. Because they're really great. I mean, you were quite a different band, weren't you, for that label? Because they're more of a kind of doom stoner type label.
Right.
And I don't know who does the artwork for some of their albums are incredible. I think, you know.
Yeah, they have some cool graphics.
Yeah, for sure. He'll commission people to do it, but I think he does a lot of like the arranging of the art, or at least for the label. So he helped us out with Demon Face and Stalingrad's Cross, like as far as putting the art together and doing the layout and all that. So he knows his way around some design work for sure.
Cool. So in the classic sort of interview style, like I have to say, like, how did the band start? How did Gravehuffer start? Basically, I know you were called Crom, weren't you, to start with? So how did it all start?
Yeah. Well, okay. 2008, I think it was, is when we started on. But going even further back than that, Mike and I were in a band called Initial Detonation, as well as our old drummer Larry. This would have been like 1996.
Wow.
Yeah, all the way up to 2000, I believe. We did a couple of vinyl EPs, and we did some
tours.
We did a couple tours, and I mean, we toured the East Coast, the Midwest, the North. I mean, it was pretty fun. So yeah, we did that for a few years, and ended up. I got married, had kids, and I kind of stepped away from music for a little bit. Mike and Larry kept doing a Freak Flag.
Yeah, we kept jamming.
Yeah.
And then for some reason I started playing guitar.
Oh yeah.
I started playing guitar, and so we started this punk band that was like just really fast, like a Mob 47 mixed with Black Flag type of thing or something. But I'd never liked playing guitar. I was like, it felt so small, you know. And I knew I'm a big guy, so I'm like,
I remember seeing you guys. You looked funny.
I'm like, dude. People would say, "Oh, how long have you been playing? How long have you been a guitar player?" I'm like, "I'm a bass player."
Big fat fingers.
The bass player in that band split, so I was like, "Look, I'm moving back to bass. Let's call Rick, see what he's up to." And so when we called him, he was like, "Yes, I'm ready to jam."
Oh god, dude, I was so ready at that point. I was like, so trying to find some band to join or whatever, you know. So that was like it for me. I remember James coming into my day job at the time. I worked in a grocery store, and he came in. He was talking about, they were called Ether Bunny, talking about, oh, we're playing a show, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, you know. And then it probably couldn't have been more than a month later when I got the phone call. I was like, hey, you want to play in the band? It's Mike, me, and I can't remember if it was you or James. I can't remember. But so yeah, we got going. This would have been probably May or June of 2008. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, we've been going like that ever since, really.
And I just thought of something.
Yeah.
When we first had Richie over to start practicing, after the first or second practice, there was a little kid sitting outside, and we were carrying our gear out, and he goes, "What's the name of your band?" And I remember Larry flipped him off. Remember?
I don't remember.
He flipped off this little kid, and the little kid's like looking at him. He goes, "What do you think we should call it?" And he says, "Dead Beans."
Oh, I remember that.
And I just started sitting here thinking, on MDR, that's what everybody calls me, is Beans.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I just picture that little kid saying "Dead Beans," and I'm like, wow, that little shit like knew something about beans. Like,
yeah. We're into the nicknames at MDR. I mean, the reason why we went with Beans, really, because there was someone else called Mike.
Yeah.
So it's just easier just to call you a nickname. So Beans and Rich's Burritos. When we think about it, we've got to find one for Travis.
Well,
got to think of one for Travis.
Yeah, we'll have to catch him on something.
Yeah.
I know people have fucking 5 or 6 nicknames in there, man.
Like DJ Bad Wizard, the guy, he's got a bunch.
Yeah.
Ali.
I'm DJ Pappy.
Oh yeah, Pappy.
Yeah. The reason behind that is because of I keep going on about old school music all the time, like in the old school and all that. So I just become DJ Pappy, you know. But so like Gravehuffer, like I've always thought a lot of bands don't like to be tied down to a genre, but then like you're like, yeah, but mate, you're a thrash metal band. Don't pretend like, you know. But with Gravehuffer, it was like genuinely, it's difficult to tie you down to a genre. It really is.
Sure.
Like anyone that don't know them, there's I would say there's like grindcore in there. There's punk. There's metal, sludge, a bit of doom. Even like, do you even like what do you call yourselves? Do you even bother calling yourselves any genre?
What was it you call it?
Just extreme music.
Extreme music.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of what. There's always an extreme, like, vibe to everything and intensity.
Yeah.
So,
We're eclectically aggressive.
there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's
Yeah.
a good one.
That is a good one, Travis.
But yeah, and another thing about you guys that is pretty amazing actually is your promotion. You promote like crazy. Like no, I know it's Richie. Like no other band I know. Like that must be a lot of hard work because it's something you have to do yourselves, really. So like, how's that come about? Like you sort of want to do that? You know, it's must be difficult time wise.
Yeah.
And money.
I think it was more out of necessity and just we didn't really like sit down and say, okay, this is your role. Like it all just kind of fell into place, I guess.
I think what happened is when our drummer had to quit because this job he works, he travels a lot, and he couldn't tell us any set times he'd be home for shows.
Yeah.
So we're trying to play shows, and so we didn't have an outlet for anything.
True.
And so Richie, instead of us playing shows, Richie just starts hitting the internet. And that's when I started first hearing about you talking about MDR.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, well, I'll go check it out. And I go in there and get in the chat room, and right away they made me feel welcome.
Right.
And like I said, after a few times of visiting, you kind of become friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get turned on to all kinds of kick-ass music,
Right.
like constantly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's just so much stuff. And there's even like Elric, he'll have his like 1970s, punk.
Yeah.
Like the Hawkwind, of course, and like, he'll have his like theme shows, and then he'll have a show with like just new submissions. And I just love that everybody there has got this. Seems like every DJ kind of has their own thing,
It's like their own taste.
It is.
That they're
right, exactly. And I think that's really cool.
But you don't get that on radio anymore.
No, it is. It's more like, like Pappy was saying, it is more like old school, radio or whatever.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, it depended on, you're like, oh, this DJ is getting ready to come on tonight,
Yeah,
and so you knew Friday and Saturday night, you could call and make requests all night. I'd be like, will you play SWAT? SWAT. They always did, dude. They're probably like, I'm tired of this fucking kid calling with the SWAT.
Would you play the theme SWAT?
But they still played it, man.
God. That's so.
Now you can't do that. You can't talk to DJs anymore.
Right. And that's the thing that's cool about NVR, and there's lots of radio stations where you can make requests and stuff online, and I think that's really cool. But going back to the question, we weren't playing shows, so that was really the only, like Mike was saying, the only outlet we had was blowing stuff up online. And I had just got a job where I worked and sat at a desk like half the day, and my job's really cool about not caring whether I'm on the internet as far as like MDR chat room or whatever, So that's kind of where that started, and there's been some growing pains, and I've learned a few lessons here and there as far as like spamming and sharing too much and blah blah blah. It takes a while to learn all that stuff, and I've went through trials and tribulations and people telling me good and bad, and just learning from it. And I think that's pretty much it, though. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. It is. The promotion's amazing. Like, the only other sort of record company I know that does that really is Nuclear Blast, who promote like crazy, But I mean, how's it been with the lockdown, the COVID shit for the band? What's that been like? Crap, no doubt, not very good. But have you been coping with it as a band?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, it's like not having therapy though. I think our last show was like last
January, man.
January.
Yeah, it's January.
This I've gone without playing a show probably since I was like 17 years old.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Yeah,
and I'm 50.
Yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
weird for everyone, though, isn't it? It's very
even
strange.
people are dying to see shows too, you know.
Mm.
But I think once all this is over, man, I want to put the pedal to the metal. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I want to hit. I'd like to do a European tour and go to Japan and Germany. You know, Sweden. I'd love to play a show with like Mod 47 or Abscum or something like that. Like,
yeah.
I want to like
ABBA.
try to outreach, like reach out of our boundaries, and all they can do is say no.
Exactly.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of been the whole thing with the promoting and stuff. And I've just been kind of like coming out of my shell a little bit and just asking people stuff. And like Mike was saying, the worst they could say is no. And then you move on. And if they say yes, then it's like, you know,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
so
So
50-50 shot, man.
exactly, man. I mean, I like those odds. So yeah, that seems to be working pretty good for us.
Well, all the UK DJs at MDR would love to see you in the UK. That would be awesome. We're always going on about it, aren't we?
Well, I know the UK would be like stop number one. So
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, most of our DJs come from Hastings for some reason. So that would be there's a cool rock pub there. That would be a great place. The Carly, or London, of course, you know. But the only downside is what with the Brexit thing. It's probably gonna be more expensive now for bands to come over, which is a real problem. But hopefully there'll be a way around that. But we'd love to see in the UK. What do you say?
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely it's on the radar. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. It's always down to money, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. That's the way it goes. I was thinking actually, like when me and Rich are chatting on MDR a lot, we share a lot of musical taste, don't we? We pretty much are into like the same bands. We're into a lot of bands, but like we're into like the same metal bands, same punk bands. It's just crazy, isn't it?
It is.
But that's the thing with MDR though is I think what makes us good, I think attractive to people is there's no rules in MDR. We can basically play what the fuck we want.
Right.
So I think that's what's good about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of like our motto too. Is like if we all like it and it all sounds good to us, then we'll play it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's go back to sort of the first album, Blasphemy Music. Really cool album. I still have a lot of love for it. You know, lots of short songs. I kind of mix along, but a lot of short songs as well. That album was done in two different time periods, wasn't it? Could you explain how that album came about?
Yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of a combination of Crom's first release with Chaotic Evil, and that. Oh gosh, on Blasphemy Music, I believe that's songs 5 through
20.
18.
Yeah,
5 through.
I think like 5 through 20 or 7 through 20.
Yeah, I think it's 5 through 18. I'm almost positive. Because the first 4 songs on Blasphemy Music were originally intended to be an EP. And I think, was it Stan that said that, why don't you just, I believe he was Stan, the guy.
He's the one that said put it all on one.
Right.
Reintroduce people with the since we changed our name.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're still doing these songs as Gravehuffer, so go ahead and reintroduce the Gravehuffer crowd to these Crom songs.
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of how that went, and it's kind of weird. I like almost forget about the Crom album, but because to me it's Blasphemy Music now. But yeah, the first 4 songs on Blasphemy Music were, like, I mean, you can pretty much tell like that's a completely different session, you know. And
Doomier stuff.
it does have the doomier stuff on it, and it's weird. It's just, I guess that's what where our heads were at the time, but. And then the last couple songs on Blasphemy Music were covers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, last 3 were covers, and like we did Celtic Frost, Into the Crypt of Rays, Ramones. Yeah, those were a lot of fun. And then we did the old Initial Detonation song, So Sells the Shepherd.
I miss that song.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so probably break that out again.
I know. Well, yeah, because I watched that the other night on YouTube, and I was like, man, we need to break that out. I want to sing on this song.
Right.
It's only like 40 seconds or something.
Yeah.
It's like a minute 20.
It's like a minute. Yeah,
it's over a minute.
It's about a minute 20.
Yeah, that was your guys' epic.
Yeah. So yeah, that's there were some Ether Bunny songs on there, I think there were like a few from even before I was in the band. And then I wrote a song or two, and then
there's some songs that you hear on there, you're like,
Yeah.
That's the way I listen to them. I don't listen to any of that stuff.
Yeah. I haven't. It's been a while for me too. The only time I really hear them is when like radio plays them or whatever, and I'm like, oh. That's a little better than I remember, Like there was a DJ that's been playing Book of Enoch a lot lately, and I'm like, man,
I like that.
That's a good
song. Maybe we should try that one again.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'd be different with Jay because his approach is a little different on the drums, so it might change the song up.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the thing too. So
Jay has been a big breath of fresh air
for sure, man. Yeah.
When James quit, like we're right in the middle of recording, and he's like, does a few takes that were about 15, 20 seconds a piece, and then he's like, guys, I'm just not feeling it. He goes, can I be honest with you guys? And we're like, yeah. He's like, I'm just not feeling this whole singing thing anymore. Like he's wanting to be a stand-up comedian, which I'm all the best on that.
Yeah, for sure.
And, but it was like being kicked in the nuts, dude. Like, so we're right in the middle of recording. So we're like, what are we going to do? So we're like, fuck it. 10 minutes later, we started tracking. We're like, Richie and Jay can sing. So he's like, we just moved on. It's like all we could do was like, we didn't go take a week off, or we took like 5 minutes off, being kind of stunned.
Yeah, kind of like, oh shit.
And then we're like right back at it.
Oh, we had to announce that we had signed with Black Duma Records that day.
Oh yeah, so on the video you can see we're all like,
hey, we're signed to Black Records.
We just got kicked in the balls.
Yeah, our singer, he did just quit like 30 minutes before we made that video, and so it was very. Yeah.
But it kind of lit a fire under our ass.
Yeah, it did.
Like, let's do this. Let's kick this thing's ass.
Right.
Like, I think it shows on the album too.
Yeah, I think that's been our MO from the beginning. We're talking about blasting music. You're asking about that, and it just seems like this band always has some kind of like curse. And I mean, it does. It really does. Sometimes I'm like, why? What the hell did we do?
We got the Spinal Tap drummer.
Yeah.
Explode.
I know. The little green globule.
Yeah, I remember you saying you got a drummer that couldn't do like the kind of D beat thing. You had one that like Lars Ulrich style beat, and you couldn't stand it, and like yeah. But I remember when you lost. I remember when you announced on MDR losing the last singer. I was like, wow, that's like. I remember you just said it, and it was like, really? I mean, that's quite a big deal. It must have been huge.
Right. Yeah, I remember you mentioned that to me because you're like, really like James. I hope you guys can fill that void,
Mm-hmm.
And
I just think he had a unique voice, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He's a really good too.
Yeah, he wrote some good lyrics.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him. So I've only seen him like once since then. I mean, I don't have any ill will towards him.
Right.
I wish him the best,
Yeah, I've talked to him. I've texted him probably 4 or 5 different times. We'll text memes and stuff back and forth. And usually war related memes, but for whatever reason.
But Travis over here, he was really good friends with James. Yeah. He was in a band with James.
Yeah, we were friends since 5th grade. We went to church together, and I got him into metal. I ruined his life. I owned him the 7th son of a 7th son, and he got hooked on it.
I know, right?
Now, Travis over here, he gets introduced to bands like backwards.
Yeah. I wasn't raised on rock. I grew up in a Christian household, and it was like the wildest it got was top 40 music. So like I got into music from a friend in about 88. So everything I got into was that band's album in 88. And then I worked backwards. I would read thank you lists and stuff like that. So I actually heard like Ozzy Osbourne before I heard Black Sabbath.
Right.
Like that's how my life went. You know, I like was catching up on the old stuff newer. But the great thing about that is I'll always have something to hear. You know, there's so much music in history. You know, so.
Yeah, I know for sure.
But yeah, so I got into music backwards, you know. So I heard Black Sabbath by Ozzy covering it on the Just Say Ozzy album.
Man.
And
Wow. Yeah, but when you heard the real deal, you're probably like, wow.
Wow.
Fucking Tony Iommi.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, to be fair, like that does happen quite a lot. I mean, Metallica, for example, like if it wasn't Metallica, there would have been some new wave of British heavy metal and punk I might not have heard before. That kind of deal, you know. So and I didn't get into punk really until the early 90s. So you know, I've kind of gone backwards, you know.
I'm kind of like that too. Because I got into metal first. So the first time I heard punk, I was like, man, that's like sloppy thrash, you know. Like, I didn't get it quite yet, but then I realized it's just rock and roll played extremely, and like went through from that point of view instead of having to shred all the time and everything. That's when I started getting into it. Yeah, but like I used to think heavy metal was Bon Jovi because like top 40 music, and then my friend played me Dawkins in the intro to Kiss of Death. At that moment, it was like the heaviest guitar I'd ever heard in my life. I was like, okay, that's fucking awesome. Because I used to think the intro to Money for Nothing was like the heaviest guitar ever played. And I was like, man, that's crazy, man. I can't believe they played that on the radio. That's nuts, man.
It's quite a riff. It's quite a riff.
That's a good riff.
And my first show was Mob, and I got grounded for 6 months because I had to sneak off to it. But it was worth being grounded because I saw George Lynch in a club.
Yes.
Oh, bloody hell. But you know, you're in a lot of ways. I mean, you're from that area of America where religion is a huge thing. I mean, was you all brought up religiously?
Yeah.
Didn't James have to smash his tapes with
James's mom, he had like 100 cassettes and like everything from Iron Maiden up to that point, which was like 90. And his sister told on him and he had to sit there and smash them all with a hammer.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
And I wish I had these moments on videotape though, because my parents would get the lyrics out and read them to each other. And I would get in so much trouble, more trouble, because I'm laughing at them because it's just cracking me up. Like, did you hear this, Larry? Listen to this, Larry. And it's like reading like about like girls' asses and stuff. It's like, listen to this. And it was funny to me. But I always got to keep my Striper albums, and I had them convinced Testament was a Christian band, so I got to.
New or old? Dear. Did you, Mike, Richard, did you have similar things going on in your life when you were kids?
My mom was raised really religious, and as soon as she turned 18, they said, you have to go to church until you're 18. After 18, she was like, she was done with it. She didn't force me and my brother into it. She never, ever, like, freaked out on the music, because my mom really liked horror movies. So one day I was Slayer, and she was like, how do you enjoy this? Like, what? She didn't understand it. And I go, look, this is like a horror this is like a band. I said, you know how you like horror movies? And she's like, yeah. I go, this is like a horror movie, but it's a band, you know? It's supposed to be scary. And she's like, oh. So she got it after that. And she never we always had band practice at my house. My house, we had ramps. She was always like the neighborhood mom, you know? So I got kind of lucky and didn't have to deal with any of that shit, man.
My parents loosened up the older they got, though. I think.
That's good.
And your parents were metalheads, weren't they?
Yeah, man. I mean, my dad had Judas Priest records and Black Sabbath records. So, like, my parents named me after Richie Blackmore. And, like, so.
So we didn't have to deal with any of that stuff. That blows my mind.
I know it is. It's weird.
I'd be laughing too. Like, because your mom finds a Cannibal Corpse album.
Yeah. Oh, if she saw Cannibal Corpse, oh my gosh. Because she about had
They would have sent you to a monastery.
Well, it's hilarious because I'd be like, it's after they gave up, because I just replaced my albums and I start hiding them at my friend's house, and they gave up, and they knew I listened to it, but they'd still gripe about it. And the things that she thought she would hear coming from my bedroom, she'd twist the lyrics around.
Oh god.
And it was hilarious. She just thought the worst about that stuff. It's cracking me up. But gosh, one time Soundgarden, she's like, "Oh, I heard what they're saying. I enjoy being raped by a monkey. I heard that."
Oh my gosh. What's the real
I
lyric?
don't think he heard that. I don't remember.
Oh,
but
damn. I enjoy being raped by a monkey.
But now they look back on that and laugh now. Like now, like my dad listened to our other band, Skunkworks Audio Unit. My son played it for him, and he was like surprised at how good it was.
No, really?
Stuff.
Wow.
So he like
That's
listens
really-
to that. So now they're a little bit more open about that stuff now. But
That's cool.
I remember preachers and shit playing records backwards and going, "Did you hear that?" And you're like, "Dude, we don't sit at home getting high and like playing our records backwards."
Yeah, I mean, we just don't.
You know what I mean? What the fuck are you doing? You're the crazy one. You know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that whole satanic panic thing, man.
Yeah.
And the Filthy 15 and all that. PMRC and God, I remember all that stuff growing up.
But yeah, the religion around here is.
Yeah.
Well, dude, my father-in-law was in a band called the Sodomites, and they were playing a show. I can't remember where it was, and supposedly one of the preachers here, his name was Mac Evans, was going to protest the show or something like that.
Because of the band name?
Yeah, because of the band name. And Brian's dad said, I'll come out there. I've got dirt on him. So he came out there, and I guess he had dirt on the preacher because he was a deacon or something.
Oh, shit.
So he came out there, and I guess Mac Evans never showed up. So
Yeah.
crisis averted. But I was like, man, that would have been something else.
Yeah, some scandally rupture on the fucking.
Seriously, he got busted for selling Amway or something. I can't remember.
And like,
Yeah, that's like, what the hell was that stuff?
it's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. Yeah.
I remember in the 70s, my aunt and uncle sold amp shit.
Mhm.
There was always like some little trinket or some little Chotsky that was a dust
Oh,
collector, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Paperweight.
Yeah, they're always trying to get other people to sell it, you know?
Yeah. We're going way off topic.
Sorry, man.
That's right. I'm enjoying listening. But I mean, your parents are similar to mine, Richie. They were like the original like hippies, really, from the late '60s. So they were into sort of. They saw Led Zeppelin, they saw Cream, they saw all these old bands, saw Jimi Hendrix. So I grew up on that, and they named me after a character in a book at the
Oh, wow.
time. So yeah. Writer called Michael Moorcock wrote these fantasy books, and that's where my name comes from. So no religion in my family whatsoever, you know. And the UK is very different. We do have. There isn't really the religious kind of problems in the UK. It never has been. I mean, a little bit, but
Sure.
it's more with the music. It's just growing up with people just not liking it and thinking it's noise or whatever. And quite frankly, I quite like it. I don't want to be part of the system. Do you know what I mean? So
Right.
so it's not that bad. You know, it's nice being different anyway, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of what drew me to punk. Like, when I first heard it, I was like, this is for me. You know?
You're right.
Because I just thought, listen to the radio, you go, okay, here comes a guitar solo. Oh, here comes the verse and the chorus, and the song's over.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes this. And when I heard punk rock, I was like, what the fuck is this, man? Like,
Right.
but when I heard hardcore punk, you know,
Mhm.
I heard Sex Pistols and Ramones, but when I heard like Suicidal Tendencies, I was like, this is for me.
Right.
You know, like this is the music version of skateboarding or like
right.
drag racing or something.
Right.
You know, it was
Yeah.
like full tilt music. You know?
Right. Yep. For sure. First album.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what it was.
I was gonna ask like your influences, but I mean you're saying that. And I know pretty much Rich's influences because it's pretty much mine.
Right.
pretty similar. So if like when Blasphemy music come out, because you're involved with MDR before Your Fault come out. Was Blasphemy music already out before you kind of got involved with MDR?
I think so. Man, I cannot remember what songs from that record got sent into MDR, or I don't remember. It could have been something that somebody else sent in on our behalf or something. I really don't know. I mean, it seems like it's been ages ago. It's kind of weird.
I think we're celebrating our 7th anniversary as well, so that would make it 2013, wouldn't it? So I guess it would have been out already. Yeah.
It may have been like XR 750 or something.
Yeah.
I know we were trying to promote that song.
I remember that one being played. That's about the time I first started. You talked me into. You said, "Hey, you should get down here and go chat. It's real fun."
Yeah.
Once I was like, "Hey, that was pretty."
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like it's once you start getting to know people and everybody's super friendly in there, and so yeah.
I think it was XR was the one being played all the time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was XR 750. So
I've pretty much because I have a policy of if a band comes in to chat, I play their music. I just think that's fair. I think I've played your albums maybe 4 times through.
Right. Like every song. Right? Yeah.
Every song, probably around 4 times, I reckon, over the years.
Awesome.
It is, yeah. Well, heck, it's like
awesome.
Like I almost always try to come in there when and there's a few times I don't make it, but more often than not, I'm in there and Mike will come in there, and we just enjoy it and have a good time. And like Mike was saying, we've been friendly with most of you guys and girls since the beginning, I feel like. So yeah.
So we talk about the next album, which was Your Faults, and that a lot of MDR were involved with that. Mike and Grace did some of the intros, didn't they? They did a couple of intros.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Man, that's great. Sometimes I forget about that. I remember doing an interview with Mike and Grace, and I'm trying to think. I must have been listening to Thunderhead Show one day, and I think I asked Mike something like, "I love the way you do your like the way they do their ads and stuff. They always have cool samples."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, "Hey, would you want to do the intro to the record?" And they were just like, "Oh my god!" They were really honored to do it. And so yeah, Mike put that together, and the end of Chains Around You, it's got the chains dragging. You can kind of hear this guy, grunting and groaning, trying to drag all that stuff. And but yeah, the intro is you hear like a shovel and guy pushing the coffin open, and I guess it's Mike's voice going Gravehuffer, And I was like, dude, so awesome. We were like, that's so cool. Like, we just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And
it's a great opening. I love it.
It is. It's really cool. I mean, to me, I was like, man, that just sets the tone, and it's still like cool, but it's kind of cheeky too, because we're not like totally serious all the time, obviously, but
yeah.
So it's
I got the album here because it was great because you did like a final promotion for this, didn't you?
Yeah.
And we're in because another thing was Marietta did your artwork. It's this, isn't it?
It's
Zach's wife.
Zach's wife did the art for that.
Yeah, Matt. Marietta, I think her name is, or yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, another link. It's brilliant. I got the your full album here.
Yeah, nice.
And all the goodies that come with it. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I love the Black Flag reference.
I went to see Black Flag. I wore that shirt, and I kept catching people looking at it and like trying to figure out what is that. And I'm just like, you know what it is. You know, like,
they run to the merch table,
and you see them like start to laugh, like, oh my god. That was hilarious.
That was like a total surprise from the artist Eric Sweet, that is a real good friend of ours for many years. He did Your Fault, the front cover, and the back cover was like a total surprise. We had no idea he was.
We had joked around about.
Oh, really?
We told him about the Aquaman song, and so he's the one that said, or we were joked around about the cover, but have it be Aquaman, and we didn't know anything else. That's all we knew. So we didn't know he was going to send it. He just sent it. Yeah, and it's like the family Black Flag ripoff.
Right.
I sent that to Mike V, the new singer for Black Flag, the Provocator.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've never heard anything back about it. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I was hoping he'd see the back and be like, "Oh my God, this is hilarious!"
Right.
Well, it's great because like the Of Fish and Men song, obviously about Aquaman, but I love the lyrics. I kind of complain that nobody likes it. Nobody likes that comic, or like, and they actually they made a film in the end.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They made them all buff and cool.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
See, you guys should take credit for the resurgence of Aquaman.
What was it? We had a song about the Punisher, and we had a friend that he I guess he actually liked Aquaman, did he?
Yeah.
Roger?
Yeah.
And so he'd always say, "Why don't you do a song about Aquaman?" Because James would say, "This song's about the Punisher." And he'd go, "No, Aquaman." And so we're like, we got to write a song about fucking Aquaman.
So this guy kept giving us shit about, you guys need to write a song about Aquaman. You got that song about Punisher. You know, he's just making fun of us basically. And
Howard the Duck.
all right, that's the next one.
That's a Marvel character.
So yeah, that's basically what came about.
That's how I got started.
Yeah. We were playing a show here a couple of years ago. I think it was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And there was like a TV playing, and we're getting ready to play A Fish and Men, and like there was a Jason Momoa like commercial for the Aquaman movie right before we were playing that song, and James like, "Hey, check it out, we're getting ready to play that song."
Aquaman.
There's Aquaman. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, lyrically, that's another thing. I mean, you got your lyrics about, you know, war and death and horrible stuff, you know, but you also got lyrics about Evel Knievel and comics and Watership Down, one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
Like, so you write about anything that, like, there's no limits to like lyrics. You just like to write about anything, yeah.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you got four people, so everybody has an equal say, like in everything. So, you know, it's not just one person. I mean, James is tasked with writing the lyrics, but we all like come up with subjects
and during the recording of this album, there's a lot, like even on Ghost Dance, there's a couple of times where Mike put a couple of edits in the perfect place, and it like he's the one, the lies stacked on lies.
Oh yeah.
Line, because what I had in there just wasn't fitting.
Yeah.
And that actually made the dynamic of the whole song more, because the people thinking Ghost Dance was going to work, that might be considered another lie to them, like you know, because when I was reading about that, a lot of them consider that as like the end of like
the end of their belief.
Free Native American culture.
Okay. Yeah,
like and the guy who was writing about it was really young whenever it happened, and he said to him, and he's the one that said the quote, "There is no sinner, the sacred tree is dead."
Oh, okay.
And he was talking about how everything they believed at that time was just gone. It wasn't just they had lost their land, and many of the people, their lives, is like their culture kind of took a down.
Like everything they believed in, slapped them.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so they're just like, oh.
Right. Yeah. Yay.
Yeah.
When people get credit for writing the lyrics, like I get credit for writing lyrics, we all have a say in like
we all help
feedback.
mold and shape.
We get feedback from everybody on just about everything.
It's super collaborative. It really is.
I remember you. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I remember you originally. I don't know if you're still doing it. Gonna have your old singer write lyrics like a kind of Beach Boys, Brian Wilson kind of thing. I mean, is that happening, or is basically Travis coming and the rest of the guys coming in with lyrics that for the new album?
Mostly the people singing the song write the lyrics.
Yeah, that's true.
But the idea is like, I think every song had an idea. Like when I came in, like Ghost Dance they already had the idea to write a song about Wounded Knee. So
most of the time we come up with the topic first.
Right.
Yeah. Unless somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I got these lyrics. Let's see what we can make them fit to." We have all kinds of riffs that we just have laying around. So we could just like, well, does this fit? Does this work? Oh, that one kind of works. And then we'll just build
right
from that.
Yeah.
Or sometimes like on this last album, Richie had like 12 or 13 riffs on his phone. So he like sends them all to me. And I just started like putting in my recording program and saying, "Oh, this one sounds good with this one." What song was that?
That Sights to the Sky was like two different things.
That and Backpack were built just by me scrambling up all these riffs. So it just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing.
Right.
You know, so it was like, we listened to it like, man, that's a shitload of riffs.
Yeah, I had tons, man. I just had so much.
The album is a riff extravaganza.
Those two songs, those are like Lego.
Yeah.
Like building with Legos. That's how those two songs are put together.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. Like every song had a unique approach, though. Like some songs we wrote like in the jam room. You know, we just like somebody would start playing and then it would turn into something. Like Death Before Disco actually was that way. Mike was like, "We got to make this." He goes, "He's been talking about that forever." He goes, "I want to write a song called Death Before Disco."
Just because I want that shirt, those old shirts. When I was a kid, people used to wear those Death Before Disco shirts. So I thought, man, we got to have one of those somehow. So we got to make a fucking song.
Dude, I think that was even an initial detonation.
Yeah, dude, I've been trying to do it for like 20 years, but everyone shoots me down.
Yeah.
No. So one night I was like, fuck it, man. I learned the bass part. So when they came in the next day, I'm like, hey, I started playing. They're like, "Oh my God, is that the Bee Gees?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're doing that song." And they're like, "Fuck it, okay."
All right. So we just wrote it all that day, and like everybody came up with like a part, and then those were the first lyrics that Travis wrote.
Travis wrote the lyrics.
Yeah, and it was so cool.
What was that you say about Cocaine Cowboy, or what is it?
Cocaine Clowns.
Or... Cocaine Clowns.
avoid the invasion of cocaine clowns.
Yeah. I was like, man, that's kind of cool.
Noise Supreme.
I was doing it from the point of view of, because when I hear Death Before Disco, I think of Death Before Dishonor. And so, thinking from the point of view of like, we're really letting the noise gods down by letting disco happen. And we're going to die, you know, but we're not going to listen to this, take this crap. And
that's actually so cool.
I wish we had a lot of money, because I had this like idea for a video and it'd be all Japanime, and like when it starts going Noise Supreme, then we were standing there on the hill and we were all getting our swords out, and then all these people are coming over the hills, and we just started like going through like them, slaughtering them during those riffs, like hacking up
disco blood. It's full of coke.
You did a kind of similar thing in a cartoon format, didn't you, for Kill for Sport? So do it for real. Yeah.
Man, we need to see therapists. Everything always comes up us hacking things up in the videos.
One thing that's nice is we often get your albums as a promo quite a long time before they come out, and I remember like we had Your Fault album for ages before it came out. So like you must like live with the songs for like. You must get actually before the album comes out. You must actually like maybe even be bored of the songs. I don't know.
Your fault. We were definitely like, God.
Yeah, it had wore out. It was wore out.
Seriously, it was.
But like, this one, I haven't been listening to it. Like he says, he listens to it all the time.
I listen all the time. I
haven't listened to it maybe once. Like after it was done being mixed, I listened to the maybe 5 times since then.
Right.
That's it.
I think I haven't listened to it in been about 2 or 3 weeks at least. But yeah.
Well, I guess you're playing the songs, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean that's it, and it's totally different when you're playing the songs. Like physically, it's a lot more exciting, I guess. But and that's something that we're getting ready to start back with is playing, you know, not shows, but we're just gonna start rehearsing again. We got a new jam room studio that we're putting together here at Mike's house where we're at right now.
Yeah,
and you know, we're almost done with that, and then we'll be able to start jamming again. We're gonna practice for a live stream set that we're gonna be doing in December, I believe. This guy's got a setup, and he's got multiple cameras, and he's got professional recording equipment, and it's gonna be like really nice. And so yeah, we're gonna be. That's the plan anyway. So we just need to get rehearsed and get a 30-40 minute set down before we can do that, obviously, because it's been forever. But yeah, that's the plan coming up. So yeah.
Well, that'd be cool because I know a guy who does. You may have seen me promote it, like Retribution Night, and that was a set of concerts that he was doing monthly around London, but now he does it online. So he's getting bands just playing, sometimes live online, or sometimes some pre-recorded stuff. So maybe I'll let you know about him, and maybe you could do that. That would be cool.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Awesome. So you had the EP out as well, didn't you? The Demon Face Stalingrad Cross, which was and what I also love is some of your sort of packages you do, like some really beautiful 7-inch kind of singles. And are they still available? All these sort of singles and packages.
Right. Yeah, we've still got. There's not a whole lot of them left, so if anybody wants one, you probably gotta get on it because there's only I think the clear marble swirl and then the solid white. I think I've only got 1 or 2 of each of those left, and then the black and white splatter. I think there may be 10 or so of those, and then the white with black splatter. I think there may be 15 or 20 or so. But
those are the coolest looking ones, I thought.
Yeah, I thought so
cookies
too.
and cream.
Yeah, it is cookies and cream.
Yeah.
Get another one. I ate my coffee. So.
Every one of them that I have, I give that someone. I'll give you $5 for it. So I end up, okay. Well, Richie, I need another one, but I haven't read.
Yeah. So yeah, that was cool to put that there, like have separate art for each song. That was pretty cool. We're trying to continue the new album too, have separate art for each single that we release.
That's a point. Actually, you released a artist book as well, didn't you?
What's that?
You released a book of just the arts.
Oh yeah,
Bandcamp. That's really cool as well.
Like a 12 by 18 sheet folded in half, and it's got all the art that we've done so far. And I tried to put a caption under there to credit the artist, and then what we use that particular piece for. And we sell them for like $5, and we've sold a lot of them. I'm actually kind of surprised, but that was our old singer James's idea. He's like, we ought to put together like an art book, and I was like, you know what? We'll do that
Because we're lucky enough to get the artists that we have.
Right.
Yeah, you get some
seriously.
We hooked up with them.
Yeah. I mean,
and there's some great art. I mean, I love this, but there's some great artwork out there, and also love your logo, like the coffee logo. I think it's a pretty cool. Who come out with the logo?
That was
Gary.
I think the whole pentagrave thing.
Yeah,
that was Gary Moore, the guy that masters all of our records, actually.
Oh, cool.
He was in that initial Detonation band. He was one of the singers, and he ended up going to music school and ended up, I think he lived in Nashville for a while. That's what it was. And he ended up recording like, oh my gosh, like Kenny Chesney and like Kip Winger and Bret Michaels and all this crazy.
Yeah,
he said Kip Winger did a roundhouse kick over his head and stole his. Oh, you didn't know about this.
No.
He stole his fries, and I've got so many.
Stole his fries.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of Kip Winger stories.
Who doesn't have your stories?
I mean, he's like, dude, I could write a book. So anyway, way off here. So Gary, he came up, he drew it on. I can't even remember what it was.
Well, did it come from Satan's Ice Cream Truck? Because you could.
Yeah,
Gary was in a band with him,
yeah.
and they were badass. They were called Satan's Ice Cream Truck.
Oh yeah.
And it was like grindcore meets, I don't know, it was like drum machine grindcore with a lot of pop in it too at times. They kind of like were Jekyll and Hyde with their music.
Right.
And but their logo was the pentagram, but the middle looked like an ice cream cone. They put like a lob of
Ice
on top
cream.
of that part.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
He basically drew that logo, but put a coffin
A coffin instead of the ice
instead of ice cream.
That's right.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
And it looked a little different, so I just kind of expanded on it. You know? It's. I think every time there's a major change in the band, we change it somehow.
Right.
I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that. I think it's the first time we've ever talked about it.
Yeah.
But if you look at the logos, every time that we make a band change, the logo changes.
Plus music. Don't know if there's a logo there, but
Yeah. Yeah, see, it's a little different on that one.
The lettering will change. Like this new album, we took out the little symbols on the cover. Those are gone.
Yeah.
So that when we look at it, we'll know right away. Oh, that's when Travis was in the band. That's when Larry was in the band.
That's when Casey was in the band.
We can tell by looking at the logo what the lineup is.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody caught onto that though.
Yeah. Yeah. That was like.
We're trying to work out the copyright, but the next one we're going to try to incorporate Hello Kitty in there somehow.
So there you go. Travis is giving away our.
But that because you change symbols every time you change like.
We took the coffin for you. We took the symbols off the coffin.
Oh yeah, because I'm just straight.
So it's just the blank coffin now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Necro Eclosion just has
Okay.
That's
Cool.
different. Yep. Yeah. There you go.
Before we, I'd like to talk about, like, obviously we'll just quickly talk about the album and like when it's going to come out and all that. But there is something I just wanted to talk about, something that's quite serious actually. I don't know if you want to talk about this. Just let me know if you do or you don't. But it kind of shocked me. Back in 2011, one of America's biggest tornadoes ripped through Joplin, and how did that affect you? How did it affect the band at the time? It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen images. It was bad.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's weird. That tornado comes up about every day. It's so weird. So yeah, I've talked about it quite a bit, and it doesn't really bother me. But I mean, I was one of the unlucky ones that we lost our house and ended up losing our dog, and but yeah, it was pretty bad deal. I mean, yeah, we end up having to go on hiatus for, gosh, it was like 6 months because it just blew away the practice, and didn't have anywhere to practice because we were practicing at my house, and then so after I think it was about 6 months, 7 months. That's when we actually changed the name to Gravehuffer. That was kind of the impetus. Name was when that happened. Mike suggested that we change the name. He's like, man, we're kind of starting over. Why don't we just change the name? And there's like, we were getting confused with other bands called Crom, and there was like rapper, like electronica and all this. And it was just kind of weird. So I remember there was even a few reviews for the Chaotic Evil album where they thought we were a different band, and I was like, no. so yeah, it was kind of crazy, but
All right.
yeah, I do it in my car, I think. But
yeah. Favorite song of Blasphemy Music is Chaotic Evil, by the way.
Yes, yeah, yeah. That was the. What am I trying to say here? Yeah, that was the name of the Crom album. was Chaotic Evil.
Right.
And
Okay.
yeah, that was kind of our Dungeons and Dragons homage, or whatever.
Yeah, the back of it was the
was it Advanced D&D?
Yeah, the back of it was the first AD&D. Like I used to play D&D a lot when I was a kid. The back of it was the Dungeon Master's Guide, the first one, that big red demon.
Yeah.
So people used to look at it and go, "What is that?" Like it took them forever to figure out what it was. They're like, "I know what that is. What is that?" I'm like, "I'm not telling." And then finally, they're like, "Fucking Dungeon Master's Guide, dude. That's what that is." I'm like, "Yeah," because I took all the words off.
Yeah. Yeah, when we played Chaotic Evil, like before we played that song live, we would James would say, "Okay, if anybody has a D20 in the audience, we'll buy you a shot." And there were a few times somebody had a damn D20 in their pocket, and, like hey, and we had to buy them a shot. So that was kind of a fun thing for a while.
So like,
I'm sorry.
go on.
As far as like the whole tornado thing, yeah, that really did affect us quite a bit, and it pretty much, like I said, was the impetus for the name change, and we ended up kind of relocating to our drummer Larry's house for several years. He lived about almost an hour south, and so we'd have to drive to band practice, which
Yeah, we get up like at 9 o'clock in the morning.
to have to get.
I'm like, dude, we have to be the only metal band that gets up at 9 in the morning
to go practice right.
on Sunday.
Yeah, on Sunday.
It was
Yeah.
on Sunday.
To get practicing
dude,
before church.
It was almost like we were going to church.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, his house.
I'll be right back.
His house is out in the middle of nowhere, so your fault. It's kind of like we were recording in the middle of the woods, like we could shoot shotguns off his back porch and then go record guitars, So it's like way out in the boonies, like Deliverance style Missouri.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you got through it anyway, because that's got to be tough. It's not something we would ever experience in the UK. I mean, I've never seen a tornado. We don't have them in the UK.
Oh, really?
We have floods.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what it looks like to me. It looks like a giant with the lawnmower. Yeah. Wherever that tornado touches, it looks like a lawnmower had gone through there. And it didn't matter what. It doesn't matter. They're like, oh, we got these storm safe things. Nothing's safe, man. Like,
the landscape's totally different in Joplin, in that part of town, for people.
And the laws of physics change, man. The laws of physics actually.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you could see. I saw a 2x4 that was stuck to a curb.
Yeah.
Like, how can that happen?
Yeah.
That breaks the laws of physics.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
So the rules are off. When there's a tornado, the fucking rules are off, man. You better pay attention.
Yeah. One of those blocks.
Wow. So I want to talk about the song Prince of a Thousand Enemies, because how did you come about? Was it the book? Was it the film? Because it's very British. I kind of thought, I didn't think it really left the UK. I didn't think it was liked anywhere else. But it's an amazing book. It's an amazing film. How did that come about?
Well, that's been that's probably one of my favorite books. My fourth grade teacher, the camera might move a little bit here. Richie's hooking up some power to it. But my fourth grade teacher, she read us that book. And to me, that book just stuck with me over the years. And then when I started getting into punk rock when I was younger, like 14, 15, I always thought of that book. They're kind of like sick of society. They knew the society wasn't going to last. And they're like, we're trying to go do their own thing. So that book has always resonated with me for my whole life. And when my kid was old enough to read, it was the first book I gave to him. I'm like, this Richard Adams, I read a bunch of his other books, like Shardik, the one about the bear. There's ones about dogs. A lot of his books have animals as the main characters. And that one just stuck with me, that story about them leaving and striking out on their own and making it, And when we were talking about, I came out and said, hey, we should write a song about Watership Down.
Oh yeah.
And I think James had seen the cartoon, but he had never read the book. And so we just sat and talked about it. And
I think he ended up. Did he read? I think he may have read the book.
Yeah, he read.
I think he did.
Read the book.
And I bought the new version on DVD, and I think we watched that too.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that he knew the whole story, you know, then he wrote the song.
Yeah.
It's
James always researched whenever
He was a good
did.
researcher.
wrote
You know,
lyrics. He was, went to the library. And,
yep.
because he didn't want to get called out, you know, like if someone else read the lyrics, like, oh, that's fucked up, blah, blah, blah. He didn't want to be that guy.
yeah.
Right.
Someone catches him some bullshit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he always tried to make sure all of the lyrics, especially if they related to something factual, you know, or real life, you know, he always made sure that it was true as possible and all the facts were straight. And, you know, like Michael saying, like, hey, that's not true, you know, and like, yeah.
Like the Evil
We did
Knievel, the Evil Knievel song, that was another one where I said, hey, we should do a song about Evil Knievel. Because I'm like, you know?
Right.
And he didn't
Me
know
too,
anything.
as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, dude, I got this huge Evil Knievel collection, you know? So he's like, he goes, well, man, I don't know anything about Evil Knievel. And he basically just interviewed me about everything I knew about Evil Knievel. He like took notes. I told him nicknames and jumps he made, things he's famous for, you know? He took what he could and condensed it down into that song. You know,
Those lyrics are cool.
yeah. When you read the lyrics, you're like, "Oh, this guy likes Evil Knievel."
Yeah, I mean, it's totally convincing.
Yeah.
Evil Knievel for me was famous for actually not doing the jumps and breaking all his bones. He never like whenever he like there was this. He actually come to the UK. He actually come to Wembley to do this massive double-decker jump. He completely missed it. Missed the ramp and broke his pelvis.
Yeah.
But
dude.
how brave, though, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
But didn't he fill that stadium, dude?
Yeah, he was
That's
massive in the UK. I had a toy motorbike.
Yeah. For a stunt that lasts like maybe 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Wembley
Yeah.
Stadium.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
He filled that fucking stadium.
Yeah, Wembley Stadium.
He was the man back then. When I was a kid and you jumped a bicycle, you were fucking Evil Knievel.
Right. You're like, I'm gonna. Yeah.
I'm Evil Knievel. Nobody else. You know?
Well, that's
Yep.
before you have nuts. That's like when you're still little. And
Before you
you don't
smash
have as much to
nuts.
lose whenever you land wrong.
But he was jumping Harleys, dude. You know?
Yeah.
There's a guy that jumps. There's a guy named Doug Danger, and he still jumps. He jumps one of Evil Knievel's actual motorcycles, dude. And he broke Evil Knievel's record like last year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
He wears the Evil Knievel costume where it rides the real thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Wow.
crazy seeing him fly through the air because you're like, damn, dude. 'Cause it's like,
A big old heavy bike.
Yeah, dude.
I know it's kind of crazy.
Did you ever see the film Watership Down? I presume you must have seen the film. It's
yeah, I have that.
dark. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's pretty brutal. Really.
It scared the hell out of me as a kid. Like, you know, I saw it as a kid. And the moment when Hazel is the blood coming over the field at the beginning,
Yeah.
freaked the hell out of me as a kid.
That Fievel or whatever or what's his name? Is that his name?
That was that one was amazing.
Hazel. Is he the one that was freaking all the time?
I think.
Oh, yeah, the shaky one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Fifle, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that had the visions and stuff.
Okay.
And Hazel was the one that listened to him, I think. Hazel was the one that like protected him.
Okay.
And the brutal, bloody fights that are in it, it's quite shocking,
Oh,
really.
Ripping their ears to shreds and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we go, just quickly let everyone know what do we expect with the new album. We've heard Ghost Dance is pretty awesome. What differences are going on? Obviously, with different vocalists, but is there stuff that's similar to the other albums? Is there a few changes? What's going on?
What do you think, Travis?
Oh,
I mean, as a
just
am I
I'm
crazy?
serious. Fucking wrestling.
are you asking about the variation of the?
Yeah. Oh, we can see his face now.
God damn.
Yes.
What? Richie's been here the whole time.
It's here.
Oh my gosh.
That thing was getting itchy.
The vocals has been fun. It was kind of an on the spot thing, the way we recorded because of COVID and also they were kind of under the gun because they're making an album when James left. So there's a lot of different people. There's 3 of us doing vocals on this album. Some of them are at the same time, some of them are trading, some of them somebody has a song.
Oh, Mike's voice is on there.
Yeah, Mike, he's the one that says whipped cream on the Bee Gees part.
I forgot to, I was like, where is it? So he said that. I was like, oh yeah.
Whipped cream.
Yeah.
But
Whipped cream.
It's been fun. I've kind of been learning as I go because I haven't really sang heavy in 20 years. I just like thought, you know, I've got time. I really like this band. I've been watching the band since they began. I'm friends with them and everything, and thought I'd give it a shot. And so it's kind of learned on the spot. And I guess I had enough enthusiasm to convince them that I will get better. And
well, the first came to, he brought notes, and he had the lyrics printed out. That to me was like,
I was like,
okay, he's a go-getter. He's
Yeah.
like got his shit together.
yeah, I was trying to like cram heavy singing into in 3 days, and like I like tore the hell out of my throat trying to learn how to do that because I like committed before I knew I could do it.
Well, yeah, I don't remember. You messaged me, didn't you?
Yeah, it was like a spur of the moment thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go for it. And
Yeah.
I like messaged you, and then when you said, yeah, we'll try out this Sunday, and I was like, well, shit, I guess I'm doing it. So I need to learn.
Yeah.
So he sent me some. He had me pick 4 songs out, and he sent me some lyrics, and
Yeah.
I went in and tore my throat up, but it was enough to get the gig.
Yeah, that was cool. I remember you messaged me, and I was like, whoa, why the hell did we not think of Travis before, you know? I mean...
Well, plus he's been real good at taking direction. Jay, his voice is real developed.
Yeah.
Your voice was not
Yeah.
developed.
He's the Cookie Monster, and I'm the Crypt Keeper.
So Jay is kind of like teaching him. You got things to do with his throat, so he's not out of breath the whole time.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's still learning.
And that's why I listen to the album so much, because I'm still practicing on like for endurance and stuff like that. But I want the album just to be like, and it is second nature to me now on timing and everything. I don't think I'll ever forget like when it changes or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
I might have trouble with some of the lyrics that I hear different things, and then I start saying them that way as a joke, and then that becomes the new norm for that.
Yeah.
That becomes the new norm for that lyric.
Yeah.
So I'll have to catch myself on that. Like,
Right.
like condors flying. It's hard for me not to say corn dogs fighting.
Corn dogs
fighting.
Corn dogs fighting.
Oh,
In fact, I can't even unhear that when I listen to
is that
it.
Stingray?
Yeah, the last verse in Stingray.
That's right.
So we got a pretty cool comment here from Metal Mickey. He says, hello fellas, not heard of this band before, so I went over to check out a couple of songs. Destroyer of Worlds is cool. There you go.
Yeah.
Already fans.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So I presume the new album's like similar. It has a mix of different sort of styles. Like, is there fast stuff, slow stuff, all that going on?
There's not a whole lot of slow stuff.
Yeah,
there's some
subduing parts. The thing about this album, you can't pick out a song and say, hey, it's one of these kind of songs, because like all the changes that Gravehuffer's been known for, they happen within the songs now. Like it's not just, it's like in the old days you could like this one's a little bit more thrashy than it is punk, or it's teetering. Like this, the music now is a stew of just a whole bunch of elements of heavy music.
Right.
And sometimes in one song you'll pick out 3 or 4 different styles, all heavy. I mean, in one song, because we'll have so many changes. And some songs are like changing all the way through. Like it's like they escalate as the song goes.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like I've noticed. I know at least for writing the stuff, I was like, man, it seems like a lot of the stuff we have, it's almost like a linear kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
And it's not quite so much A B
Yeah.
bridge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like A B C D. There's a lot of like
a lot
it was like it's like, okay, now we're here, and then we're gonna turn down this road, stay on it a while, then we're gonna turn down this road, and then we're gonna go on a dip or whatever. There was definitely more of it seems more adventurous, at least to me.
And
I think Jay drives a lot of that.
Yeah.
Because he'll be doing that double bass and cruising along, and you don't want to stop or have, so let's just put another part there.
Right. Yeah. Like when we're all jamming, it's like we kind of like we'll know when the song is either finished or not finished. Like all of us will be like, man, I'm hearing something else after that, or I think it needs to get faster here. Or what if we just go and just do a like a slow thing? You know, I mean, I think everybody, a lot of the times I feel like we're on the same page as far as where the song needs to go. And I feel like with this album, we definitely clicked a lot more with that. So yeah, what Travis and Mike were saying totally makes sense.
And I don't know if it was on previous albums like with James, but for me, I was noticing for what I'd come up with and what Jay would come up with, that like would change the song. Like when you hear it, the instrumental version, like it almost changed the way the riffs sound by the way the vocal placements are and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's like the finish. I mean, that's the finish is kind of a challenge, especially when the song's changing a lot to come up with something. But I think we did a really good job of that on the album, of telling the story throughout the whole through the song and it being a cohesive thing.
Yeah, I feel like we've heard that there's like more black metal influence, and we've never really had that. So
that's interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but
that new Dark Throne.
I think we
really listened to that new Dark Throne.
We were all listening to the new Dark Throne, Old Star, and really digging on that, like to the point to where we were thinking about covering one of the songs. Even
that's a good album.
It's really good.
And that new Voivod, the way
that Voivod.
I think that put a touch on us too.
Yeah, the Wake, or the latest Voivod. We'd listen to a lot of that.
I think that's a lot of why we keep writing songs have different parts, because we let so many kinds of music touch our lives and kinds of change your plans. So like, if I'm listening to Dark Throne for a month, I'm going to start writing some heavier Dark Throne-ish riffs, and then we're going to be like, okay, that riff's in the pocket. Like, hey, what about that riff you're playing the other day? Oh, you know. Or you start writing a new song. You're like, hey, I just need some Richie on it, you know.
Right.
And Jay, he even throws riffs in. You know, he's been writing riffs too.
There's like 4 or 5 different riffs on the new record that our drummer Jay wrote, and I mean,
I'm ready to start writing again.
Me too.
I'm tired of waiting for this album to come out. Put it out.
Right.
Strike while the iron's.
I'm like, let's write another album. You know, we can totally write another album right now.
Well, yeah. Heck, I've already started recording at home for the new record.
I've already been practicing my poses in the mirror.
Hey, there's one cover. I know you mentioned you were thinking of doing that. I'd love to hear personally. Is you were thinking of doing Hawkwind's Death Trap? That would be awesome if you could do that. That would be something.
Hawkwind cover.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! I'd do any Hawkwind. I don't care.
Yeah. What song, Elric?
Death Trap.
Death Trap.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was playing for. They remade that on a recent
riff.
Yeah.
It's fucking badass, dude. You know?
Man, that'd be cool. Man, we need to think about that.
I just want to do a cover album.
I could do it.
Like 5, 6 songs.
I want to do Cathedral's Soul Sacrifice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That'd be a good one for Gravehuffer to cover. I just hear Gravehuffer even before I was in him, I was a fan, because Kill for Sport reminds me of Cathedral.
Right.
So it's like,
we were kind of James and I were talking about that. And then in Tombs, we were thinking about doing Wolverine Blues. Gosh, what else? We've thrown so many covers around.
Oh, Pentagram.
Oh yeah, we were thinking about doing a Pentagram cover. It's funny, we're doing all these doomy songs.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It just seems like where our heads are at right now.
Oh, I think Dystopia, the meds aren't working.
Oh yeah.
This would be a good one.
Yeah, Dystopia is another band we really like that we thought about covering.
Cool. When you can pre-order a new album, is that right? And when does the new album come out? It's January next year, is that right?
Yeah, January 15th. You can pre-order it on blackdoombarecords.bandcamp.com. And I think you get a download of Ghost Dance when you pre-order it. And then I believe the first 50 copies come with signed posters. Like there's 2 posters, and the first 50 are signed, and then the other next 50 aren't signed, but it's still the same 2 posters. And then I believe the albums are going to be hand numbered as well, the first 100. And it's going to be a 3-color vinyl, like a yellow, red, and black splatter. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like. We haven't even seen them yet. So,
wow.
so yeah. It's, as far as I know, quite a few people have pre-ordered it. So I think Tommy Stewart, the head of the label, he was in Hollow's Eve, and he was saying that a European distributor ordered 24 of them yesterday. So
wow.
Yeah, we're like, ooh, kind of cool.
So you sent us the promo of the album, so I really appreciate that. Are we are we able to play? Do we need to hold off on that, or can we play on the Metal Dev Station radio?
I think they don't want anybody playing it yet.
Yeah, hold off. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they want everybody to hold off, but
Man, I hate that.
yeah, I know.
We do have another single coming out soon, though, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, second single will be out November 20 something. It's the song's called Causes, and we actually just got the artwork for it a couple days ago, and it's really cool.
So have you only heard one song?
Only heard the one song.
Damn.
Oh, really? I've sent Graham the whole album.
Oh yeah, I've not even got around to hearing it yet. But officially, I've only heard obviously the single. But yeah, I need to get into hearing it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing it.
At it, man. If you want to, feel free to listen to it. So, it's mainly for reviewers and stuff. But yeah, mid-November, the Causes single will be out, and that was a cool song. That was something Mike put together, and I mean, he pretty much wrote the whole entire song on bass, and then he's like, "Hey, let's do this.
Hey.
This is what I'm."
It kind of sounds like Husker Du. Do you like old Husker Du?
Yeah, Husker Du's okay. Yeah, not bad.
That bass, that kind of like Husker Du bass to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like mid-range sounding, a lot like
a weird bass chord. I don't play very many chords.
Yeah, so it's got more of that.
It's a little different.
Kind of like almost like weird, like if Lemmy played weird chords, I guess, instead of rock.
Yeah, and it's got a weird time signature.
Yeah,
it is strange.
Is that the guy that went on to do Sugar? Am I right, or have I got that wrong?
Yeah, Bob Mould.
Bob Mould, or whatever. Yeah.
I think I can play some guitar, man. He's pretty underrated.
He is underrated. Yeah, a friend of ours that his name's Ryan Smith, and he actually the lyrics for that song are a poem that he wrote. God, I don't even remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure when.
When he wrote it, but he passed away here a few years ago, and he was a really, really close friend of ours. And we did that as a tribute to him, and the poem fits perfectly with music.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have to edit it at all. And when the change happens at the very end of the song, that's when the poem ends.
Yeah,
kind of like not creepy, but kind of like it was pretty wild.
Yeah, when we were doing the read through on the first time through, and
we
it ended.
Like two, right? Did we pick?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we like these two poems. Let's see if they fit with this new song.
Yeah.
So we're playing
the
new
song.
song.
Got to the second poem.
Yeah, and he's reading it. And him and Richie are both reading it.
And it ends.
And when it ended, they both looked at each other like,
we look at each other like, holy shit.
This one fits
like,
perfectly.
Goes right in here. And like it even like escalates with the changes of the music.
Yeah.
And the music was written way before we ever had the idea to use those lyrics.
We did that.
And the syllables.
Yeah, the syllables.
It all filled the gaps.
Yeah. And the fact that it did have a weird time signature and changes and it still fit.
Yeah, it still fit it.
It was just crazy.
That's pretty great.
And it was a song we kept tossing back and forth because we were working on things separately. Jeremiah lives north of Kansas City. He lives about 4 hours from here. And then with the whole COVID, us having limited times going to the studio and small groups in the studio and stuff.
Right.
So we'd kind of divide songs up to be writing, me and Jeremiah especially, be writing lyrics for. And that one kept getting kicked back and forth. And then we thought we were going to collaborate on it, but we couldn't get together on it and everything. And it just happened because he said, Stan suggested we use some Ryan's poetry.
No, James did.
Oh, James did. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It was James.
Oh, I didn't know it was James. For some reason, I thought it was Stan. But and we tried it, and the whole thing took about 20 or 30 minutes for us to have that song like pretty much done. I came in and recorded another layer of vocals on it next night, but it was like for a song that was a trouble song,
It was,
and then it just fell together. And we were kind of hitting the headline of getting
we're like,
we
need to get this finished.
We were thinking, man, this song's just gonna be filler.
Yeah,
Or
we actually
filler,
thinking
you know?
about not using it.
And so we're like, man, maybe we'll just kick it till later.
Right.
Mhm.
And then once we did it, we're like, oh, this came out really
This
good.
came out really cool. And then the horns at the end.
Yeah, once Doug came over, I polished it off.
It's such a
Damn,
cool
I'm looking
song.
forward to that now.
Yeah, now it's one of my favorite songs on there.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites.
I like the very first one, dude. That
Custom of the
Custom of the Sea
Yeah.
is my favorite track on the album.
Yeah,
Dude,
that's a
yeah.
good one.
It's got a little bit of everything.
It sucks you in.
Yeah, it
immediately.
does.
You're
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, it is. It's got a cool riff, and it's just the way it starts. It's real sinister. And
But we took a lot of time too, and Jeremiah especially, on the placement of the songs in the album.
oh yeah, the sequencing.
The sequence, and I think
Yeah.
the flow is really good. Like every
Right.
song, I think sound. Now I can't imagine it in a different order.
See, I can't either. I remember, we really went back and forth on that a lot.
Mhm.
Like, it's got to start with this.
and also we had to worry about the logistics of it because they had to fit on two sides of a record, so you had to, get songs at the time, about the same time of a group of songs too.
yeah, and then like what song's going to start the second side of the album, what song's going to end the first side of the record.
It's a really short 44 minutes because like the flow's really good. There's hardly any time between the songs. It's just, bam, bam, bam kind of album. And you got all kinds of flavors, all of it heavy though.
Yep, for sure.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. All right, guys. Thanks ever so much for the interview. Finally, get to interview Gravehuffer.
All right.
It's
Thanks a
been
lot.
really cool. What I'll do is I'll play parts of this interview over the next few weeks at Metal Devastation Radio,
Okay.
and also I'll stick this on Mixcloud as well as YouTube and all that. So thanks for the interview. Really appreciate it. You guys
Thank
are
you.
awesome, and
Thank
I'll
you.
see you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
MDR chat soon.
Yep, we'll see you Monday.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.